Hi there. This is the February 2023 real estate market report for Area 104. That's Truro, Bible Hill, and Stewiacke. My name is Andrew Keddy. I'll be your presenter. And just really quickly, you might be wondering, why should I listen to this guy? Well, I won the Director's Platinum Award from Royal LePage several years in a row. That puts me in the top 5% of Royal LePage Realtors nationwide. And I tell you that not to brag, but more so to reassure you that I have a pretty good sense of what's going on in the real estate market. And I feel quite qualified to speak on this subject. So in this presentation, we're going to go through a few key metrics, but the two big ones is days on market and average sale price. Because I think when anybody is thinking about selling their property, they're wondering how long is it going to take? How much money am I going to get? So you can see, first of all, days on market until sale. In January 2023, we were sitting at 45 days on market. That's actually up 66.7% over January of 2022. So that's signaling that the market is softening just a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a terrible time to sell your property. It just means that the crazy demand that we saw around early 2022 is starting to pull back. We're seeing properties on the market a little bit longer. That's a sign that there's fewer buyers. If you actually look at the bottom number down there, month supply of inventory, it went from 1 at this time last year to 1.5. That's a 50% increase. What that means is that demand is now, essentially it's quite a bit less. Last year around this time, it took about a month for everything on the market to sell. Now it's taking about 6 weeks. So it's about 50% longer selling your property now compared with this time last year. Okay. Now, where does that fit in the overall trend? Well, time on market's higher than it's been over the past year, but it's still quite low compared with the historical average. So on this chart, the lower the number, the shorter the time it's taking to sell. You can see if you go back to 2018, 2019, it wasn't unusual for it to take a few months for your property to sell. That trend overall has been coming down over the last number of years, and it bottomed out early to mid 2022, and then it's been coming up ever since. We saw a little bit of a pullback, so a little reduction in the first part of 2023. However, I think a lot of people are expecting that this trend is likely going to continue a little bit further, where we're going to see properties taking a little bit more time to sell. So for sellers, that might sound a little bit scary. For buyers, it's welcome news. After a few years of extremely aggressive bidding on all properties, we're now seeing buyers being able to breathe just a little bit. But does that mean that if you're a seller, you miss the market? Absolutely not. So in terms of the average sale price, interestingly enough, we're actually sitting about 9.5% higher in January 2023 than where we were last year. So even though we're seeing a weakening in demand, prices have remained quite high. And there's various assumptions over why that might be the case. One of the things personally that I feel is that once people get used to paying these higher prices, it's hard for both buyers and sellers to get their head around going back the other way. So I think we're going to see prices likely staying relatively high compared with the overall trend. And we're still seeing quite a shortage of houses. I know a lot of people, when they talk about buying, renting, anything like that, almost everybody's complaining that it's tough out there. So that's a good indication, just from a street perspective, that that it's going to put upward pressure on housing prices. So where does this fit in the overall trend? Well, you can see going back to 2018, we've had a steady increase in prices. We had a huge spike early last year, and then the prices were somewhat volatile, still increasing towards middle to the end of the year. And then we saw a drop off at the very end of the year, which is quite normal. And that dropped it a little bit below where it had been in terms of an average, but it peaked right back up. Now, it's a little bit hard to tell at this point, but it does appear that the overall price trend may be beginning to go down just a little bit. So the next few months will be very interesting as we see the effects of some of the governmental changes and the increases in interest rates, see how that all pans out and affects our local market. But for right now, still housing prices on average well above the historical average. Still a fantastic time to sell. If you're buying, you're going to be paying more money than you would have a few years ago, but the market has allowed you some breathing room finally. So interesting time, both a good time to sell and a better time to buy than it has been in several years. Now, this presentation has not meant, it's not meant to be a complete, A to Z comprehensive overview of the market. This is just a snapshot of where things are at to help make you a more informed buyer or seller. If you have questions, which I'm sure you do, by all means, please reach out to our team. We have an amazing team of agents over here at Royal LePage Truro Real Estate, and whether you talk to myself or someone else on the team, I'm sure we can find somebody that'll be a great fit for you to help you meet your real estate goals. So give us a call at the office, 902-895-6361, or you can check out our website, trurohomes.ca. Personally, if you want to check out my website, andrewkeddy.com, I'd be happy to book you a free real estate review. We can talk about your real estate goals. So once again, my name is Andrew Keddy. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I wish you much success in real estate.